Hello and welcome to Morning Star Church's special Christmas presentation. Every year we try to find another creative way to tell the greatest story ever told. And listen, this year is no exception. Despite a global pandemic, we have a Christmas gift to you, a way of sharing what it means that God loved us so much that He came in His own Son, Jesus Christ, to become one of us. So listen, wherever you are, gather your family, grab your favorite yummy beverage, get comfortable, and receive our gift to you this year, Church Alone.
The music is too loud!
The auditorium is way too cold!
Can't you hold a service sometime when I'd like to attend?
A pastor should wear a suit when he preaches.
A pastor should wear a robe when he preaches.
I've spoken with a considerable amount of people. We all agree you should serve communion more.
Sometimes I wish my congregation would just disappear. Wish they would disappear.
Robin? Laura? Kids? Anyone? I lost my congregation, and I'm at church alone. I lost my congregation, and I'm at church alone? All night! It's got a chance. It's got a chance. Yeah!
Hey guys, are you in 6th through 12th grade busy hanging out with your family and starting to get, how do I put this, bored in the house and you're in the house bored? Well, make sure you follow Morning Star students on Instagram at MSC Students. We're having 12 days of giveaways, games, engaging posts, devos, and more. It's all part of the fun things that we do in student ministry at Morning Star. Each year we have mission trips, camps, lock-ins, a giant slip and slide, a color war, and other fun activities that are specifically designed for you to have fun, grow closer to Christ, and connect with other students your age. You should come and be a part of it. See you soon.
2020 has been such a challenging year in our kids ministry. Big plans turned into now what's overnight. And through it all, we've been able to reach kids we would never have met in a normal year. Each week, our kids were able to tune in to a new episode of Kids Connection with Kristen Kreike and all of her friends for a fun adventure and Bible lesson. This summer, we produced VVBX, a virtual vacation Bible experience where kids in our community and even around the world participated in learning about the full armor of God. As we move forward, Kristen and all her friends will be here each week meeting kids right where they are and helping them to get deeply rooted in the love of God. To find out more about all we offer kids, visit our website or simply download our app.
The beauty of the incarnation is that God was making a way for more people to know him. Though there was no room for him in that inn on that first Christmas, he would make room in his house for all people, Jew and Gentile, male and female, slave and free, and not just the well-to-do church-going folk, but those that religion had turned its back on, the poor and the marginalized, the least, the last, and the lost. I don't suppose I truly understood the meaning of unity, the importance of togetherness until now, friends. Turns out I needed a pandemic to knock some sense into me. The truth is, I had to have an entire congregation taken away from me before I could understand what was on God's heart, why he sent Jesus to us that first Christmas. You see, when Jesus stepped out of the throne room of heaven, he was on a mission to save the world, to save you, and to save me. But it wasn't until the events of this past week that I've come to realize the risk that Jesus was taking on in order to include every one of us. You see, if God had intended for only just a chosen few from a particular generation to receive the love and forgiveness of sin Jesus had for them, an entirely different set of circumstances could have been arranged. But God's plan was for all people, from all walks of life, for all time.
This place is locked up tight.
Don't worry about it, Marv. This place is a little cracker box. We're gonna come back at 9 p.m. We're gonna rob the whole place blind.
What about the pastor?
Yeah, what about the... Hey, he's over there in the front lawn. Come on, let's go get in the van, quick. Hey, preacher, come over here. You gotta be more careful.
Sorry.
Nobody wants to see a flattened pastor.
Yeah.
Let's follow him. See what he's up to. Oh, You can't hide from us forever, preacher! We'll be back!
Why didn't you just tell him our whole plan?
Oh, okay. We're gonna be back around 9! We're gonna rob the joint!
You're a real pip, you know it, Marv?
Not on my watch.
Merry Christmas from all the volunteers and staff of our Morning Star Outreach Ministries. Although this past year has had many challenges, we are so blessed to be able to be the place where Morning Star Church and the community come together. As a church, we have had a great impact on our world and community. Recently, we hosted 164 families at our Christmas shop. We continue to feed about 200 students each weekend from the Winsville School District through our Backpacked Impact Ministries, all while feeding another 200 kids at our partner feeding center in Guatemala. Through the New Hope Resource Center, our church has continued to meet the needs of people in our community, walking alongside people toward financial stability and life transformation, giving them a hand up instead of a handout. None of this happens without Morning Star Church volunteers and the generosity of the people of Morning Star. Thank you for all you do to have a direct impact on our community. Because of your efforts, the church continues to bring hope to people all over the world.
I thought you said the church was closed. Look, there's people dancing around.
If the church is still open, why is the parking lot so clear?
That preacher thinks he's smarter than us.
Let's get him.
Yeah! Look at this big church. I bet they got a lot of offerings.
We're gonna rob this place blind. Hey, you go that way and I'll go this way.
Sing, come on, help me sing it. Oh, come on, help me sing it.
Where is he? He went that way. Let's get him, you guys.
Joy is here. Come on, let's celebrate.
So you guys had enough? Or are you thirsty for more?
Let him down, Mom! Come on! Yeah, go get him! I'm right with you!
Rock, seals, and planes. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Everybody sing it. Everybody sing it. Come on, let's celebrate. Joy is here. Come on, let's celebrate. Celebrate for peace. Come on, let's celebrate. Joy is here.
What happened to you, Bob?
Come on, let's celebrate. Celebrate for peace. Oh, come let us adore Him. Oh, come let us adore Him. Oh, come let us adore Him. Christ Lord. Come on, let's celebrate. Joy is here. Come on, let's celebrate. Celebrate for peace. Come on, let's celebrate. Joy is here.
Better come and get me before I call the cops.
Hey, hold it! Not this time, preacher!
What are you talking about?
Come on, Mom, get up!
I really don't like that preacher.
He don't like you either. Come on. He went that way. Let's go this way. We got you now, Pastor.
Hey, guys. Wait, guys.
Let's put a nail through his foot.
Let me down.
Yeah.
Let me down.
We'll let you down right after I bite your little fingers off.
He put a nail through your feet.
Thank you so much. I'm hooked back here. I got it. Here, lean forward. Here we go, right here. Thanks, guys. So glad you're here. These guys have been crazy all night.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey, we've been robbed.
Hands behind your back.
It wasn't us.
It was them.
It wasn't
They were
me.
trying to rob the church.
It was.
You know who these guys are, right?
No, what are they?
Wet bandits.
Really?
I told you that was gonna work against us.
At least they know who we are.
I thought everyone was welcome here.
In the midst of a global pandemic, we have found people in real distress. Fortunately, God had already equipped us to respond. For the past 7 years, we have been ministering to people in distress from all walks of life through our Thursday night service, Celebrate Recovery. Each week, people from our community bring their hurts, habits, and hang-ups to the altar of Jesus Christ, where together with the support of Christ Church, they begin to find freedom from all sorts of things like anger, depression, codependency, and even drugs and alcohol. In 2020, the need only became greater, but Morning Star has been there, helping families across our community deal with the issues that have skyrocketed because of the pandemic. It is a blessing to know that you have a church ready to walk with you through the most difficult times of your life. If you or a loved one are experiencing problems this holiday season, contact us through our webpage or simply download our app. Merry Christmas from all of us at Celebrate Recovery, and may God bless each of you in a new year.
There you are. Bingo.
I don't understand, Father. Why are we doing good if no one's around to see us doing it?
Aye, you don't understand, do you? We don't do a good thing so that we can be seen doing it. We do it because God called us to do His work on earth. And in the end, He is the only one who needs to know about it. And God knows everything.
It's amazing how our current situation mirrors what was going on 2,000 years ago on that first Christmas. Back then, there was chaos throughout the empire, not because of a global pandemic or a political election, mind you, but because the ruler, Caesar Augustus, decided to take a census. Every male had to pack up and travel to his family's town of origin. They knew why Caesar ordered the census, right? To raise taxes. Never popular. That led to the same kind of widespread protest and uprisings that we're experiencing today in our country, with black lives and blue lives both trying to matter. The Romans were trying to keep peace by using force, and a number of would-be Jewish messiahs raised up militias and started revolting. Then there's the feeling that God was somehow absent. In those days, God hadn't spoken through a prophet in over 400 years. Many Jews wondered if the sins of their generation were the straw that finally broke the donkey's back. Had God finally washed His hands and left the Jewish people to the consequences of their own sin and rebellion? It's felt like that to many of us this year as well, right? I confess I've wondered where God is in all this mess. If He's sovereign, if He's got the whole world in His hands, then how could He allow this much pain and suffering and even death? Perhaps looking back and reflecting on that first Christmas will provide us with some insights for today. Because from our perspective, now some 2,000 years later, we can see the truth that God had not stopped talking, nor had He washed His hands and walked away. Quite to the contrary. His word was preparing to become flesh, to take the form of a human being, God Himself stepping out of heaven, not walking away from us, but instead walking to us, making His dwelling among us. Yet it wasn't the entry the people of that day imagined, right? The angel Gabriel didn't sound the heavenly trumpet to announce the coming of the Almighty. There was no royal birth announcement sent out from the palace. Foreign ambassadors and dignitaries did not just drop by to offer their good wishes. In fact, quite the opposite. Angels filled the sky, but they sang to the lowly outcast shepherds. The baby was born, but not to royalty, instead to mere commoners. And not in a palace, but in a manger, laid not in a handcrafted crib, but in a manger from which cattle ate. And what we call kings were in truth astronomers, and they didn't show up until 2 years later. We have to ask, what was God? Hey, mind if I sit down?
Not at all.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to say thank you for saving me from the wet bandits.
No trouble at all.
You know, the police were wondering how they got knocked out. I just told them they were clumsy.
And they believed you?
Well, you know, let's just say they knew who they were dealing with and wanted to get them under wraps and in custody as soon as possible. I've been wondering who it is that's been shoveling our sidewalk. You know, we had to lay off our grounds crew months ago because of this pandemic.
Yep, I figured that was the case. I don't know, I thought maybe doing something good for God's house would get me back into good graces.
What, you fell out of good graces with God?
No, I fell out of good graces with God's house, or the people in God's house.
What? How?
It's a long story. Back in the 70s, I was a pastor at a church too. It took all my time, all my energy, all my love. So much so that my wife and I fell into a great chasm. We fell out of love. We ended up getting a divorce. In those days, that was enough to get you kicked out of church in and of itself. And the way they treated us, I didn't want to serve anyone but myself from that time forward anyway.
And I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Back then, it seems we could have used the church. We needed some of that love and forgiveness they always wanted me to preach about. But they have their own set of rules. You either follow them or get out.
Yeah, I get that. We try to keep our rules to a minimum around here, and would love to let you know that there's a place for you here at our church. And I'm not just talking about shoveling the sidewalk. We'd love to have you come and be a part of who we are. You know, we say around here all the time that we're just a bunch of imperfect people like me, helping a bunch of imperfect people like you connect to the perfect love of God. So I think you'd find it really welcoming around here. I've been thinking about how ironic all this really is.
How's that?
Well, the fact that we both lost our congregations. I lost my congregation due to this pandemic, and you lost your congregation due to a divorce. And now here we are. We're sitting together in a church alone.
Well, the church isn't a building. It's a movement of people dedicated to following Jesus.
Right. I mean, I've preached that same sermon thousands of times, and yet, for whatever reason, it took losing a congregation for it to begin to make sense to me. So I'd really understand what that meant.
Well, I think that's the point of the sermon you were working on up there.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, I get it. That is the point, right? I was just thinking that if I could do it all over again, I'd focus less on building a church where people came just to feel good about themselves, and focus more on building a church where people could come and understand how important they were to God and would learn about serving others.
Well, that's the best part of the Christmas story.
What do you mean?
Redemption. An opportunity to start over again.
Right.
Why don't you throw away those notes and just get up there and speak from your heart? My guess is you've got the perfect words to say right there.
Friends, Christmas reminds us that God hasn't stopped speaking, nor has he stopped seeking. He's still revealing himself to ordinary men and women like Joseph and Mary, inviting us to humble ourselves and play a part in his story. He's still sending angels to outcast and overlooked people like the shepherds, reminding us how precious each person is. Because no matter what we've done in the past, we still bear the mark of the divine. We're still made in His image, persons of holy, sacred worth Him coming for, worth Him dying for. And since Christmas is all about God yearning to be with us now and for eternity, shouldn't that be our first and foremost Christmas wish as well? To be with one another, to be willing to overlook our differences, to let bygones be bygones, to appreciate and respect and love one another, especially since this life is but a rehearsal for eternity. If I can be honest, there was a time not too long ago when I sat at my desk and wished that I could just do church alone. But God's revealed to me in these past few days just how much I miss you and that I love you, even when you say things I don't agree with or things I don't want to hear. Like it or not, we need each other. And Christmas is the perfect time for you and me to lay aside our differences, to come together as one body. Together, you and me being Jesus for our community, our nation, and our entire world. So together, let's make God's word flesh once again. Let's allow God to dwell among us. Allow God to be present with us and through us be present to the world until His kingdom comes on earth as it is in heaven. Amen?
Preacher, you won't believe this. Come take
What?
a look.
What?
Look here.
No way! Oh! What is going? Oh my.
Your sin was great, your love was greater. What could separate us now? What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ. What a wonderful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus.
Hey, thanks so much for being here, everybody. Hey guys, it's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. I got to tell you, I've learned so much this year. I've learned how much I need God and how much we all need one another, right? As imperfect as we are, we need community. Hey, receive this blessing. God, thank you for the gift of Christmas, that you loved us enough, God, that you came down to be one of us. God, thank you that this year, despite anything and everything that we've been through, you've continued to come to us, even though we may not have even seen you. Thank you for your presence and your power. Thank you for your provision and all the ways that you have covered us with your blessing this year and this season. Now, God, bless us. Bless us with your light, that we can continue to go out and be your hands and feet, to be the bright morning star in our community and around the world. God, let your light shine in us and through us. And all the people at Morning Star agreed and said together, Amen. Remember, you can't do church alone, but the good news is you don't have to, even virtually. Hey, throughout this presentation, you've seen a lot of the good that we've done right here at Morning Star Church in 2020. And listen, we've got so much more planned for 2021 in our community, in our world, and even right here for the people who call this place their home. Because listen, church was never designed to be done alone. We're all better together. God bless you. Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. 2021 is the year of the comeback. coming back to worship, coming back to community, coming back to God. And we're going to come back together.